Hello and welcome to From Impossible to Inevitable. I am your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode and pushing play today. I'm so excited for this episode. It is one that I have been preparing for weeks. And honestly, in a perfect world, I would have really loved to have released this sooner. The planner in me would love to have released this sooner. However, I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do this incredible idea justice. And so it took time, but boy, am I proud of it. So here we go. Today, I am finally talking about annual planning. I realize it's almost February. I get that. Okay, I apologize. This wasn't out sooner. However, there are still 11 great months left in the year, and annual planning is still a worthy endeavor. Truly. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, actually, annual planning should be done in January because December is bananas. Who wants to sit down in December, other than me, let's be honest, sit down in December and think about next year when we can't even think past next week because the next week is there's parties, there's neighbor gifts, there's making sure that Christmas is taken care of, making sure that this is taken care of and that's taken care of and school's out or school's almost out or the kids are home and it's chaos. It's chaos. December is chaos. So annual planning should be done in January, honestly. So maybe the universe was doing me a favor and helping me plan this appropriately. So my natural self would have wanted this out at the very beginning of January. But this is where it is. This is where it's at. And I'm very, very excited about it. So this is more than just a podcast episode. I am going to pack this episode with as much as I can. And I have built out a workbook that covers the entire annual planning process. It's amazing. I've spent tons of time on it. I have thought through every single facet of annual planning that I could think of, and I have put it all into a workbook. And I have really done my best to be very thoughtful about this. And so I hope you enjoy it. It is now available on my Etsy shop for you to buy, and you can use that to help you set up your year for the most amazing year possible. So the workbook's made of 5 parts. In the first part, I prepare you for the rest of it, right? The first part, we gather your past planner or calendar, whatever you are using to schedule everything. You gather any calendars for any organizations you're a part of in the community or schools or church or whatever it is you do, work, whatever calendars impact your life, get those together. And I tell you some supplies to grab so that you have everything that you need as you engage in this. We do some brainstorming in the prepare section as well. In part 2, you would evaluate. So if you're not going to go through the workbook, that's fine. You can just listen to this episode over and over again. So you take a list of all of your current projects or tasks that you're involved in, whatever they are that you are bringing into the following year, all of these things that are midway finished or unfinished, you take that list and you evaluate each one of them. Is this something I still want to do? Is this something that's worth finishing? Is this worth my time and my resources and my energy to bring to completion? Sometimes that answer is yes. Sometimes that answer is yes, and you don't need to be the one to do it, so let's delegate it instead. And sometimes that answer is no, and you just need to let it go. And sometimes letting go means letting go emotionally or energetically. And sometimes letting go means canceling things or informing people or whatever it is. And so I walk you through doing that. And then after you've evaluated your current projects and tasks, you evaluate the goals that you have on your mind. So in the prepare section, you would make a list of all of the goals that you have on your mind. These are things that you haven't really committed to, or maybe if we're starting in February, maybe you have committed to them, but I'd say just put them down. Put down everything that you've considered, all the projects, all the tasks, all the things you want to do, all of the whatever it is that you would like to fill your year with, put it all down. And then I walk you through this process of evaluating those. Now, this is really interesting because some tasks are going to feel you don't want to do them. Like honestly, or some goals, I guess some goals feels like you don't want to do them, but you want the results. So maybe you don't really want to work out 3 times a week, but you want to lose weight or feel better or build muscle or whatever. You want those results. Those are really interesting. And they should be dealt with care, because you need to honor your feelings about the goal, get that straight, and then pursue it in a different headspace than you would that something that you are 100% excited about. Because your focus for things like that really needs to be on the results that you're going to get from pursuing that goal and or what have you. And in this evaluation, I walk you through what really deserves your time and your attention. What is the most meaningful? What is the most important? And we divide these out by one and done goals. These are things like going on a special trip or completing a house project, something that you can like check the box and be like, this is 100% done. And then the other type of goal is an ongoing goal. This is more like establishing a habit or a way of life. So if you wanted to work out 3 times a week, that is an ongoing goal. So really, the goal for the year is to establish that so that it's never a thing that you're negotiating with yourself. It's just a thing that you do. It's just a part of your life. It's just who you are. It's like, yes, I do this. This is just a normal thing. It's not something that I even have to think about anymore because it is so established in my life. And you treat those 2 types of goals differently as well. These one and done goals that you can put a checkbox by, and these ongoing goals that you're really trying to integrate with your life. Ongoing goals often take way more willpower than one and done goals, because one and done goals, you can often see really tangible progress. If you've got a house project, you could see, okay, last weekend, the walls weren't painted and this weekend they are. That's very obvious progress. For establishing a habit, you don't often know that the habit is established until it's established, until you know you're no longer fighting with yourself, until it's no longer negotiable. You just do it. It's just part of your normal life. So those require so much more willpower, because you've got to push through the doubt of, is this ever going to be a part of my life? This is taking forever. Can I even do this? Am I even capable of this? You have all of this crap to push through. So these 2 goals need to be dealt with differently, and they need to be planned for differently as well, which I go over in the 3rd part, which is structure and schedule. So I offer up several ways that you can structure goals. So for like one and done goals, I really recommend you break it down. So you have the overarching goal. Okay, what does halfway look like? And then you break that down further and break it down further until you have these like tasks that you can do in a week or in a day. And then keep scheduling weekly or daily tasks in order to get to the big goal, right? In order to make the project complete, the one and done goal. Sometimes things have more ambiguity around a midway point or a halfway point. So when I was completing this annual planner workbook, I didn't exactly know what halfway would look like. I was like, well, I mean, I guess I could say when parts 1 and 2 and 3 were done, I was halfway through. But the thing is that putting it together wasn't so cut and dry. It was, I'm going to do this, and then, I'm going to shift this, and I realized I need to add this, and all of this, and things moved, and it was a little bit more fluid. So being able to call a section or a part done was harder than it might sound. So instead, I structured this goal in this manner. When I was reading The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, I was introduced to the idea of 90-90. And the idea of this is that you spend the first 90 minutes of every day for 90 days on one thing. And that is how I tackled this annual planner. Now, I didn't spend 90 days on it because I didn't need to, but I spent the first 90 days, Monday through Saturday, the first 90 minutes of Monday through Saturday on my annual planner workbook. That's what I did. I didn't shower yet. I didn't do anything else yet. The very first 90 minutes of my day was spent on this annual planner. And over time, obviously, I hit the halfway point, I exceeded it, and I finished it. We moved on. So there are other ways to tackle your goals. There's my mentor, Bonnie Christine, encourages one thing a day, and that is a way of daily consistent progress. Sorry, I need to take a drink real quick. And her idea is that you do one thing a day towards your goal. And this can look like lots of different things. So she talked about when she was trying to become a fabric designer, sometimes it was making a pattern, sometimes it was doing a Google search, sometimes it was going out into the wild for inspiration. These are really great. This is really great for a big ambiguous goal as well. You don't really have a halfway point, maybe one thing a day. So you figure out the best structure for your goal. Whatever the goal is, whatever the structure feels like will work for you. And remember, you can change this. And then you schedule it in. Now, I don't guide you to schedule things in for the rest of the year because that is just crazy. I guide you to schedule things out to have an idea of the month and what you're going to do in weeks 2, 3, and 4, and then schedule things out by the day in week 1. And then every week, coming to your list of tasks to do in week 2 and scheduling those out at the beginning of that week, and then week 3 and week 4. And then I bring it all together on that in part 5, but just hold the phone for a second because this is one of my favorite parts about the annual planner. Part 5 is truly my absolute favorite part, but part 4 is pretty good too. So part 4, I called it Get It Together. This includes and incorporates all the random tasks that you forget about until they're like overdue. These are things like changing the air filter or the water filter or getting your oil changed or brushing and bathing the dog or what, like doctor's appointments or whatever it is. These are the things that we forget about. And we're just like, oh, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do that. I need to do that. I need to do that. Or how long has it been since I vacuumed the stairs? Or how long has it been since I changed toothbrushes? I don't even know. So this is where we account for all of that. And what I do is I guide you to write down on a sticky note all of those random tasks. And of course, I've got a great process for it, but I want to give you the overview, right? The gist. So if you don't want to buy the PDF, don't buy it. Just listen to this podcast a million times and figure it out. You can do it. Like, it's not like I'm giving you everything just in 20 minutes as succinctly as possible. So you've got a list of all these tasks and you write down, you have a January post-it and you write down all those random tasks that you need or want to do in January. So if you want to vacuum the stairs every month or whatever it is, then write down on 12 different sticky notes, vacuum the stairs, and then put that sticky note in the first page of your planner. And you know, when you come to that month, oh yeah, I need to change the air filter this month. And it's right there for you. And you can schedule it into a week or into a day, or you can just get it done and not schedule it at all. And it's done. And it's amazing. And it feels amazing because you feel so on top of your life, because these are the things that you're often like, oh yeah, I forgot. I can't believe I still need to do that. And now it's scheduled in because now we've brought it to your awareness. The last part is my very favorite part. This is probably one of my favorite things I've ever implemented. And honestly, there are a couple of favorite things I've implemented. This one is my favorite. I call it the revisit and reset day. So I encourage you to set aside at least 2 hours in a day every single month to revisit and reset. So you revisit your annual planner, You revisit your goals, you revisit what you wanted to do, what you said you wanted to accomplish, what you said you were going to accomplish. You revisit all of these things and you make a plan for the next month. And you reset any of your intentions, you reset your schedule, you reset your mindset, you reset whatever needs to be reset so that the path is made clear again. Because sometimes we get started, we get excited, we get distracted, we forget. Like, how is it that I forgot about my goals? Like, they were so important to me and I forgot because I just got caught up in the whatever of daily life. I got caught up in this and I got caught up in that. Instead of getting caught up, you now have a time set aside to reset. Isn't that powerful? So you could do this on Friday morning, the last Friday of the month, and then set yourself up for the next month, writing out what you're going to do in week 1, 2, 3, and 4. You could do this on the Saturday morning, the last Saturday before the new month. I personally have all of my Monday mornings, the first Monday morning of every month, blocked off already all year long for my revisit and reset day. And I do a little bit more than what I encourage in the annual planning because I do a meditation and all of this other stuff to help me get in a great mental, emotional, and energetic place. But I'm not telling you to do all of that. You could, but I'm not telling you to. So I have the first Monday of every single month blocked off for this time. Because this day, these hours that you spend reviewing your goals, reviewing your progress, what did I get done? Let's celebrate. Hooray. What did I say I was going to get done, but I didn't? That I now need to move to this month. What can I add in now that all of that is done? It sets you up. It sets you up. And then you can look at all of the items that are on your Get It Together sticky note and you can schedule those in week 1, 2, 3, 4. You can make sure that these things don't fall through the cracks, that you stay focused, that you keep moving forward, that you don't forget what it is that you said you wanted to do. And of course, there is room for reevaluation. Of course, if you get started on something in month 1 and you're like, I actually don't feel like this goal is for me. I don't feel like this is actually something I need to spend my time on or want to pursue, or I thought it would feel differently. I thought whatever, blah, blah. You can then reevaluate that. Is this something I still want to put my time and energy into? And if it's a no, and that's okay. But then you're intentionally letting it go. And you're putting yourself in that space where, like, instead of feeling like, oh, I've got all these things that I left unfinished, you're like, I have things that I intentionally let go, and I have things that I intentionally pursued. And that is power. That is power. That is amazing, right? That's an incredible feeling. What a difference between feeling like I don't follow through and feeling like I intentionally let these things go because they were no longer in my best interest, or they weren't ever in my best interest, but I felt obligated, or blah, 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 whatever. Doesn't matter. So this is a dedicated time for that. And it's incredible. It's incredible. It's so powerful, and it will make all the difference. All the difference, really. So if you don't take anything else from this annual planning podcast, take this time that you get to set aside on a regular cadence to have a little meeting with yourself, to have a conversation about what goals you are pursuing, what you still want to pursue, what you don't want to pursue, what you need to do to move forward. Clean up anything from the past month and keep going, keep moving forward, and focus on what you need to focus on. Revisit and reset. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. It's a gift, really. It's a gift. You're welcome. Okay, so there's a link to my Etsy shop in the podcast notes. If you'd like the annual planner workbook, I poured my heart and soul into it. There are these really great sections of things to consider and notes of encouragement because it's me in a workbook. And like I said, I really tried to thoughtfully design this. So there's the workbook file that you will get, and then there are examples of how I would fill out all the worksheets. And then there are the worksheets. So if you only want to print out what's absolutely necessary, just print out the worksheets, and then you can view everything else on a screen. That way you're not printing out all of these things. I hate printing out workbooks that are forever long that have all this instruction that I'm never going to use again, when all I really need are the workbooks or the worksheets. So that's how I've designed it. I've designed it printer friendly. Now, if you want to print everything, do whatever you want, but you get to make that choice. I didn't make that choice for you. So there it is. It's there for you. I hope you love it. I hope it empowers you to have an incredible rest of the year, and then plan in next January too, or at least put that into consideration, because why not? Why not? Set yourself up for next January, and then you don't have to do the big annual planning process for a whole year, which would be amazing. But obviously, you're taking part in this all along the way. Every single month, you are going back and doing more of this work, just not as much of it, to continually move forward and make progress. I hope you love it. I love it. I'm so excited about it. And I hope it helps you have the best, most focused, most intentional year you could have. I send you all my love. Until next time, bye for now.